I think it was the chief of defense staff or chief of army staff, who had just told Nigerians that they're helpless. Is asking the people at this point to please help them defeat Boko Haram. They can't understand why Boko Haram is strong and it needs the community to help. That should not be coming from the army. That should be coming from vigilantes. So they declare that there's going to be renewed hope, but everywhere is hopeless. It's renewed hopelessness. The minimum wage in 1975 is better than that of 2025. I know him as a politician who knows his way around manipulating people. It's the guy who came 2 years ago and said he built Lagos, and then he came and ruined Nigeria because they never built Lagos in the first place. The more you hope, the more you lose regarding this government.
What should they then do?
It's up to them to decide whether they want to keep suffering or they bond together and bundle them out.
Are you excited now that President Bola Tinubu is on the way to delivering those promises he said he promised Nigerians in 2023?
Excited? Oh, I'm very sad that we're 2 years into the regime, that we're in this situation, we're in a conundrum. And as you introduced your position about the government, I also was watching when the chief, I think it was the chief of defense staff or chief of army staff, who had just told Nigerians that they're helpless. Is asking the people at this point to please help them defeat Boko Haram. They can't understand why Boko Haram is strong and it needs the community to help. That should not be coming from the army. That should be coming from vigilantes. So security is number one. The economy is number two. They said they're going to remove. They said they removed fuel subsidy. The next day, we're supposed to see Eldorado. People are poorer than they've ever been. We are being compared with Sudan in terms of the likelihood of a place where a child won't live up to 5 years after they're born. We have become a nation that has pushed people not into poverty this time around, into multidimensional poverty. In 1970, there are less than 7 million Nigerians in multidimensional poverty. In 2025, there are over 170 million Nigerians in multidimensional poverty. The minimum wage in 1975 is better than that of 2025. So tell me, in which area did they promise they will help this country that they have assisted the country? So they declare that there's going to be renewed hope, but everywhere is hopeless. It's renewed hopelessness. And we're not just saying this. We are speaking as people who are Nigerians who observe this, who know this, and who can tell you categorically that the Nigerian people are worse than they were a few months ago. I'm not even going to talk about it.
Are you saying this as a bitter person who lost the election? I mean, because
I've stated this several times on your show that we shouldn't be discussing election because we never had an election in the
because
first
you are
place.
still an opposition voice. Yeah. You ran the election. The fact that you ran in that election,
I ran in
and it's almost impossible for you to be able to agree with the person you said you could do better than.
No, if they are doing better, even if I disagree with them, the rest of the country will be on their side. But they are not doing well. They are not doing anything, as a matter of fact. They're just huffing and puffing.
There is nothing in the last 2 years that is good in this.
Well, you go out of here and go tell the Nigerian people that there's something that's happened in the last.
I mean, there are a few things that
like
people could applaud. The loans being given to students.
Loan given to students. Did the man not just come here now and say 250 billion naira was stolen between 2021 and 2022? From the public, this was found by the accountant general, and he broke it down. People were overpaid, monies that were not returned, contractors that were overpaid.
But I'm talking about the loan 250 billion naira. You were a former student union leader.
I went to the University of Lagos, paying 90 naira for accommodation and 45 naira school fees. How can you ask me to applaud somebody who is giving loan for people to go to school? I went to school in the US. I paid loans. It was the worst decision I ever took, to take loans to go to school. People are getting depressed, committing suicide in the US because they took student loans. The Biden administration wanted to repay back all the loans, but the Supreme Court, of course, their court system didn't allow it. I'm just using that to tell you that it's an antiquated idea that you ask people who are not going to find jobs when they leave the university to take loans to go to school. But you are subsidizing people who do nothing in the country with huge amount of money. I just mentioned to you 250 billion naira. How much was the amount of money that was allocated to student loans? Was that up to 250
But
billion?
that was in the Buhari
We're talking about Buhari. By the time the accountant general is done with
yeah.
this one, with this government, you probably will find that
So
there's 3 times more money has been
how do you
stolen
assess,
in the last 2 years.
You don't agree in the manner in which the subsidy was removed, but do you agree with the unification of the exchange window?
I was on the show with you here, and I told you that I won't float in the naira, because the naira is not something that you toy with. It's national currency. You cannot subjugate the naira to the whims and caprices of market and speculators. That's what they are doing to the naira. That's why. How is it that the Nigerian naira, the naira, has less value than the currency of the guys in Cotonou and Ghana? What did they do differently? It is economic policy.
What would you have done differently?
We've discussed that several times. That first and foremost is to have a monetary policy that is about strengthening the economy. It's about people who are competent. Our monetary policy is about buying and selling of forex. That's what it is. And I was on a show a few days ago here when I talked about inflation, where the MPC meets all the time and they come and increase what they call the interest rates. And I said, it's a 98 idea by Paul Volcker and Jimmy Carter. And when Jimmy Carter did that, he lost the election. His tenure was not renewed. And you are repeating that in 2025 in Nigeria, because you must understand the reason why there's inflation, right? There are several reasons why you have inflation. And one of it is not what they are doing there. You cannot borrow money to people at 27% interest rate. There are some banks that are doing 33% interest rate. If you look at the banks across board, some of them are doing as high as 35% interest. How do you borrow money at 35% interest rate in any country and make profit and the economy will grow? No, because what is driving up inflation is not what they think it's, or what they should know is not is driving. What is driving up inflation is that the moment they bring the allocation on a monthly basis, they're going to change it to dollar. Nobody is productive here. They are buying and selling forex. Governors, everybody is doing it. That is the problem. And you then have a central bank that is doing retail banking instead of central banking. And you want those set of people to fix your monetary policy.
You have your own manner in which, and you don't agree with this government in the manner in which they're going about it. Yes. Some institutions, global institutions, have said, look, these are audacious moves being made by this government. And this government have come forward to say, look, whatever we are doing, for example, we have immediate and temporal pains, but we shall be seeing the benefit in a longer term. Don't you believe, you know Mr. Bola Tinubu very, very well.
I don't know him well enough to know that he's competent. I know him as a politician who knows his way around manipulating people. That's what I know about him. I don't know him as a
assessment of
it is.
Of the
That's
president.
why Nigeria is in the situation that it is today. It's the guy who came 2 years ago and said he built Lagos, and then he came and ruined Nigeria because they never built Lagos in the first place. They were manipulating everybody in Lagos and collecting taxes and taking care of these taxes themselves. So the truth is that I never know him to be a competent person. That was why we're warning Nigerians 2 years ago that do not make the mistake of allowing these people come to power. I won't say vote for them, because nobody voted for them.
So in this case, you do not in any way have a trust, because I'm imagining when in the renewed Hope agenda, they said we're making very, very strong and audacious.
No, I wanted to actually intervene when you said, some international organizations are, saying that they are making audacious moves. One of the one they paraded was Moody's. Moody's is people who rate bonds. Nigeria is not a company that is selling bonds. Of course, we have bonds. We buy Euro bonds, and the reason
CBN has gone to the.
No, I know. I want to explain to you. I know to explain
fully
to you.
Subscribed, in fact, oversubscribed.
No, there's nobody who will not subscribe to bonds where you get short-term investment and you have the highest rate of return. That's what the Nigerian bond system is. It's because it's not the kind of bonds that are well respected. So they have the highest return on investment within the shortest period of time. Who will not buy that kind of bond, especially when it's collateralized with our oil money? That's why we're getting over. It's not because our economy is doing well. It's because anybody can come in, make money, or even rig our bond system, your stocks here, And then you walk
So
out
you don't
after a
think
few
Nigerians
months.
should be hopeful
Now
about
you
this
become
government?
a billionaire just subscribing to the Nigerian bond.
So
because it is the kind of bonds that gives money to investors who don't care about
So you don't think Nigerians should be hopeful about this government and its policies?
No, I shouldn't. I don't think so. And I've warned Nigerians, and I'll keep saying it. The more you hope, the more you lose regarding this government.
What should they then do?
It's up to them to decide whether they want to keep suffering or they bond together and bundle them out. Nobody should be put in the situation that Nigerians are in now. And I'm never afraid to say it anywhere that I'm confronted with this question, that you are not at liberty, or no government should put you in a situation where you are perpetually in bondage. And you say, well, you have to wait for 4 years. Nobody
So
should
your
be
description of the performance of this government is for you less than desirable?
I don't need to tell you. That was my position since we started this show. That is not only undesirable, it is unforgivable that we found ourselves in the situation that we're in now.
There are a lot of people who think that Bola Tinubu has been preparing himself for far too long for this position. He knows what he's doing. He's done it before. He can do it again. And he's certain about where he wants to lead this nation. And there are those who are close to him who say, look, the plan of the president is to be the Lee Kuan Yew of Nigeria, to change things around and make Nigeria a great nation. You don't see that coming?
This president is not going to be a Lee Kuan Yew. It's going to be an undertaker.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what do undertakers do? When they kill people, they put them in a coffin, dance a bit around with them, and bury them. That's what they came to do. And that is why you were mentioning that this one was prepared. The same thing they said about Buhari, that he's been preparing since 1978 when he was Commissioner for Petroleum Resources. And when he came back here in 2015, you know what he did to Nigeria? He killed Nigeria. And now they are preparing Nigeria for burial with the same person you said is. That's why we're warning you guys on these shows when we come on your show. We don't get to come here frequently. That the so-called experienced people, that who always tender experience as their own qualification, as their CV during election, that you should look at what they have done. The experience we should look at is the experience we have had with them, not the experience of how long they have been screwing the country. And that is why we must keep telling you this, and I will say to Nigerians, no matter how much we get airtime, we will warn you and say, look, the earlier you get to know what is happening to you, the earlier you reject it, the earlier you fight back, the better for you. Don't let anybody deceive you that somebody is going to become a Lee Kuan Yew of Nigeria. When Boko Haram that he met in Borno State is already in Kogi State. When the Naira he met at 460 is at 1,650 today. When the salary of workers, when it was 15,000 Naira, is less than the 70,000 Naira that it is today. When the roads that they said they are constructing 700 kilometers, they only did 30 kilometers, they are telling you that in Ondo State, I called Ondo State today, I want to see the plan for Ondo State. They don't have it because they never plan to construct any 700 kilometers road. They just want to do 47 kilometers from Eco Atlantic to Dangote Refinery, and then the rest of it, they'll be playing with you. We warned you about all this, and this is government of liars. And we have never minced words that if you keep letting them do what they're doing with you, and you get distracted by all this conversation about coalitions and all that, you're going to find yourself in worse situations than you are now. Because that has been the story of Nigeria since the emergence of civil rule. We don't have democracy yet, but we've transferred, it's a transition to civil rule. What we are looking for now is real democracy. Yes.
In summary, because I'll take you to the coalition, because I understand that you might be leading another kind of coalition.
I'm the leader of the coalition of the oppressed, but not the coalition of the hungry, led by Amici and the rest of them.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a moment. I imagine that, how do you wrap up in your own summary?
Yes.
The 2 years of President Bola Tinubu in every ramification, and what Nigerians should be looking forward to in the next 2 years?
There's nothing to look forward to. Anything that's going to happen to you in the next 2 years that's already happened to you in the last 2 years.
You are being a prophet of doom now.
I'm not a prophet of doom. I'm telling you what will happen. You don't need to be a prophet to know the direction we are headed. We're headed for doom if we continue with the trajectory that you're getting now. In the next 2 years, they are not going to do anything regarding governance. Next 2 years is about election, how they can consolidate their hold on power, lie to you. There will be a lot of tension. They might kill people. They will deceive some people. They will manipulate a few people. They will do some cosmetic, things to make people get fooled. They will set up fake coalitions so that you think that, they have opposition. What they are very good at doing now is that they set up their own opposition. I walked in here, I was joking with a man from PDP. I said, you are the APC branch of the PDP, like people like Wike, that's the APC, that's the APC branch, in the PDP. So that's what you're going to get, but you cannot get anything better than that. There's nothing on the table that will take you to the place that you can
which
call
other political parties are you? You said you are leading a coalition.
The people, not it's not a political.
It's only AAC and yourself that is leading that coalition.
It's a coalition that is connecting with the people, and those are the oppressed. I'm not going to be part of it. I said it from the beginning, and I think we had this conversation that this whole coalition is either trying to get attention for those who don't have a job, or those who feel like.
What do you mean who don't have a job?
Well,
former Vice President Amechi, former
Amechi said it. Amechi said it. Amechi has been in power since 1999. He has been in power, and he's complaining of hunger already. So what does that tell you?
I think he was referencing Nigerians who are hungry.
No, he said if others are not hungry, me, I'm hungry. And he said it at a birthday party where he rented a hall and had, a performer that probably collected 10 million naira to perform per hour. But that's not the issue. What we're trying to say is that please don't be distracted. What needs to be done must be done. Bond together, but don't be distracted and don't let people lie to you that they're interested. Even if they somehow transfer power to themselves, you are going to get the same result. They are the same people. Just changing uniform and changing parties overnight is not the same.
So you are not joining the Atikus of this world, the Rotimi Amechi, the El-Rufai, and those who are saying that enough is enough. In fact, El-Rufai has said they will not allow this government to go further than 2027, and in fact, they will send President Bola Tinubu back to Lagos in 2027. And you don't think, that's what you wanted to. You've lived all your life wanting to become Nigeria's president.
Do you know the first time I knew about Atiku, 1992? He was contesting against Bola, and I was a student union president at the University of Lagos. If I didn't join him when I was 21 years old, knowing who they are, why would I join them when I'm 54 years old, knowing who they are? And having covered them, having understood them, I know all of them, I know their character, I know they mean nothing good for the country.
What's your strategy? Since you're a lone man and a lone voice.
I'm not a lone voice.
You said you're not joining the coalition.
No, the coalition is what is lonely. That's why they can't even hold meetings. That's why they can't find a party to join. They were joining SCP one day, the next day they're in ADC. Now they say they want to register a party. That's loneliness. Because any coalition that is without ideology is a lonely coalition. No, a coalition without conviction, a coalition without character.
There are those
without integrity.
There are those who are of the opinion that if things go on and opposition parties are not united and coordinated, it's going to be an easy ride for Bola Tinubu and the APC.
It is what they are doing that will make it easy for him to run, that will make him easy to return to office. They are preventing the real organic coalition of the oppressed to fight. People are getting distracted. Nigerian people actually think these guys are fighting.
What is the best way to have a headway? 2027.
Is for the people to understand that the only way out is the way they design for themselves.
And who is the best man for the job?
Here you have me. And I'll keep telling you, regardless of how long you dismiss it, one day you thank the moment that we've shared together, that we gave you an alternative, but you rejected it.
Are you talking to the Nigerian people?
I'm talking to Nigerian people, including you.
No, I'm a journalist.
Yes, because you are Nigerian. I'm also a journalist, don't forget.
No, you used to be one.
I'm still a journalist. So
but you're a politician now.
I may be a busybody journalist, but I see, it's a profession that I actually did found and I love. So, but, as I always say, there has to be a different direction. And the word you don't like is a revolution. There has to be one.
Omoyele Sowore, AAC presidential candidate in the 2023 election. Thanks so much indeed for your time.